What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today I wanted to do a review on Little Fires Everywhere. So if you don't know about the show Little Fires Everywhere, you've been definitely living under a rock. But Little Fires Everywhere, it's based off a book created by Celeste NG. It got turned into a mini-series, and it's been, I believe, with creative direction. I don't know if it was produced or directed, co-directed with Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington, aka OG Pope. It takes place in Ohio, specifically in the city of Shaker Heights, and it surrounds the lives of Elena Richardson and Mia Warren. And so when you first watch the show, the first episode immediately hooks you in. The show goes backwards. In the first episode, before anything begins, all you see is that somebody has deliberately committed arson, trying to kill her in her home and set the whole house on fire. And the big question of where it starts is that where's Izzy, who we later find out is her youngest daughter. See kind of the back and forth between the life of Elena Richardson and Mia Warren. So Elena Richardson, she's your average regular degular white woman. She brings out the family core values regarding how white families were in the 50s throughout the 70s. She's a working class mom. She works as a journalist part-time, and she does part-time real estate, and her husband is a lawyer. And you kind of see how they have the lavish house and privileged living, and their children go to the top school programs. Has 4 kids, and she basically, with her children, she pushes them to be kind of a part of a cookie cutter family. She has Lexi, Trip, Moody, and Izzy. She likes to have everybody picture perfect, her house in a very set, organized way. Her husband is kind of like, you know, the typical man regarding back in the 50s, only caring about his work. And in the first episode, you see that as she is on her way into work in her big Benz, she sees that there's an abandoned car in a lot. And lo and behold, it's Mia Warren sleeping in the car with her daughter. So she calls the police, as regular degular white women do, and she files a complaint saying that she doesn't want anything happen. And then that's how you get introduced to the fact of Mia Warren and Pearl. But let's not be fooled of the fact that when you see later in the show, there are so many, when I tell you plot twist after plot twist of character development, and really, if you want to get down to it, you can kind of somehow high-key hate all these characters at the end of the show. That's how good the show is, and that's how conflicting it is, and I hope it gets a season 2. I think it basically, the symbolism is the fact that throughout the show that you see how Elena Richardson has started little fires everywhere in people's lives, getting into people's business as white women. That's like their superpower. How she has started friction in certain things in different areas, not only in her personal life, but her husband, her kids, and Mia Warren. And how near the end of the show, it builds into this great big fire, i.e. her house burning down. Mia Warren, played by Kerry Washington, I think she is like the most problematic but realistic character. You don't find that much about her until you're like into the 4th or 5th episode regarding flashbacks as it goes backwards. That's really how the whole show goes. The whole show goes into flashback mode. Shout out to the actress who plays the younger version of Kerry Washington. If you see it, I kid you not, she acts just like her. The same mannerisms, even with facial expressions, emotional tension that she has with people, her eye movement, everything. The younger actress who plays Kerry Washington, I kid you not, she is amazing. Give her all the Oscars, give her all the awards. It's like, it's creepy. It's scary. The casting that they did was superb. See how Mia Warren, she is an artist and that she's a single mom carrying with Pearl, and they've traveled from city, town to town. I think what's really beautiful about it, and it's kind of sad, is the fact that Pearl has a rule in the sense when she gets a new room, she only paints one wall because she knows that they're not going to be staying there forever. Pearl herself, in this whole arc, she is trying to become her own woman. She ends up having a love type of thing with Moody, but that ends up going south and goes into a whole different avenue. But with Pearl, you see how she vouches for her mom. She loves her mom. She thinks her mom is the most strongest, most beautiful person in the world. And you see how the secrets that Mia has that she did in the sense of to give her that life. And you see that she gave her that life on purpose, not in the sense of because she wanted to, but because of her own decisions that she made way back in her youth, caught up to her. And it had serious repercussions. Serious repercussions in the sense of that if I think that if they're going to do what I think that they're going to do in season 2, sis could end up being like locked up. For real. But that's, that's neither here nor there. I don't know. I think she has this thing where she sees a lot of identifiers that she did not notice before with her mother and even with herself. Pearl, she's like beautiful and graceful and so nice and so kind. And you see how throughout the series that gets tainted with a lot of trauma. It gets tainted with a lot of trauma. A lot of decisions carry with Pearl of the fact that decisions made by her mother and decisions being made with the fact that have been affected with Lexi and her becoming into that family. I will say that the mother-daughter dynamic duo between the two, it's very beautifully well put of how they're similar in different areas, but there's a very big contrast in regarding making decisions about their lives and who they are as people and how you really validate yourself as a woman is a big arc regarding Elena, Mia, Izzy, Pearl, even Lexi, really. Each of them kind of expose themselves and really define their lives as being a woman in society and how to carry that with the grace with the pressure that comes with it and how you're supposed to carry yourself always with grace and class. But underneath you have a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stereotypes that you're trying to meet and achieve that's non-realistic, and how everybody has their dirt. Everybody has dirty secrets that you're trying to keep together, but it ends up catching a flame, like a fire. I think Mia Warren herself as a mother, she works hard. You see that she works hard. She does everything for herself and Pearl. And a lot of people, when you watch the show, you're going to be on her side, right? You're going to say, how is it unfair that she's a single mom, she's working, they don't have money? But lo and behold, when you go further into the show, you see how much secrecy and what she sacrificed and how she really has changed her life in order to gain control for herself and kind of put her life in her own hands after dealing with such traumatic things that have happened and really putting herself into a conflicting situation that kind of birthed the life of being on the run and carrying her daughter everywhere, and even how it changed the relationship with her daughter. She presents herself as a very strong Black woman. She calls Elena out. She even did, like, I kid you not, I think it's like in episode 8, she brought out Olivia Pope, like real quick, like snatched her edges, just snatched old girl's scalp with the read that she did in episode 8, I want to say. It's like one of my favorite scenes. I think the show does a great job with the cast, with both of the moms of Elena and Mia, how they portray them within race and class and social status without being a caricature, right? Elena is your typical average white mom living in a high class neighborhood, how she uses her white privilege to her advantage, how she sees the world in her own lens of the fact that everything needs to be black and white, and how some things are right, some things are wrong. And, the stereotypical attitude, even regarding of Black people, regarding oppression, how she uses, I think there's like a line in the show, how she marched with Martin Luther King, or she was there on the day that he walked, and she uses that as a crutch and her safety to feel good about herself and the fact that she can never ever be in the bubble of racism. Similar with Lexi and how she has a Black boyfriend and she believes that she has no racist traits and that she's not like that. And yeah, she knows about oppression. Of course she does. She has a Black boyfriend. There's no way that she can be racist. There's no way that she would ever have that type of behavior. So you see the relationship with her and Brian, how that's a thing, and how she wants to speak up and she tries to be liberated, but in the end she does the opposite, and she basically steals and tries to be oppressive in order to get into a school that she really doesn't even want to get into. She does it because her mom tells her to. And Brian, her boyfriend, he himself, he acknowledges the fact that he's a token, and how every single time that he's brought around her family, they bring up basketball and how he got accepted into Princeton, and how when people find out that he gets into Princeton, instead of saying congratulations or, oh, that's amazing, they say, oh, and question as to why himself as a Black boy would be accepted to such an Ivy League college. Mia, even though she calls Elena out on her white privilege, she never ever is how, you know, everybody likes to portray black women in the media, of an angry black woman. And the girl who plays Pearl, they had them in their natural hair, celebrating that. I love that. That's always a win. Even when she was in the midst of being within poverty, and the fact that she didn't have money to pay rent, and how with even in her artistry, it wasn't like she was a whole stereotype where it was overly done. It was just in a very realistic setting and place and time, even in that time period. Specifically within the 80s and the 90s. And so I feel like, you know, the biggest little fire between these two women is the fact that they are mothers working hard, trying to build their families, trying to raise their kids and protect their kids. The sacrifices or the secrets that you did in order to achieve in your own life, and how, as a mother, the decisions you make basically affect your children. At the end, you see how with Elena, the decisions that she has made independently without telling her family, the stuff that she has done in her past, how it caught up to her, and even with Mia, the decisions that they made back in their past before they had children, all of it caught up with them. All of it created each of its little fire, and it became one big bonfire, one big flame that ended up with the house burning down. The shared relationship is the fact of how, with motherhood, how much you sacrifice, and really the decisions that you make with your children, and how you yourself are still growing as a woman in society, how all of it can really make or break you, really. And it did make or break both of them. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.